I'm here in Chicago, Illinois at H+H Americas, the largest yarn and craft industry event in North America, and I'm here to find out what's next for crochet, and I'm going to take you along with me. Okay, I'm already back home in North Carolina, and while I thought at the time that I was going to be able to film everything in real time while I was at the trade show, it really wasn't possible. I needed to come home and process everything that I had learned, everything that I saw, and I'm really glad that I waited a few days so that I could give myself that time to see the big picture, and I've got a lot of thoughts, so I'm hoping that this video doesn't get too long, but I also really want to share everything that I learned. I spent 5 days in Chicago at H+H Americas, and this trade show was broken up into two separate categories. You had the fiber section, which included yarn, but you also had the fabric section, which included a lot of quilting companies, and I think there were over 500 vendors at this event, and there were thousands of attendees. I don't even know how many people were there. I was able to talk to yarn company CEOs, crochet designers that we all know and love, authors, and even sitting in on conversations that felt like a sneak peek into the future of crochet. But let's start with this. Crochet isn't going anywhere. In fact, there's a lot of signs that crocheting is continuing to grow. And while I was there, I asked so many different people what they thought the future of crochet is, and I got so many interesting answers, and I will be sharing those throughout the video.
My name is Jonah Larson, and I just love to crochet. It's pretty much everything I do. Regarding the future of crochet, I think it's something that's like growing in popularity, and I really wish that more young people would do it because, you know, it's calming, you can make beautiful things, and there's really no reason not to crochet. And if you don't want to crochet, you can knit or quilt or any other sort of craft. And I think that, especially in the future, it's just going to keep on getting bigger as opposed to how it was in past years. So yeah, that's what I think is the future for crochet.
One of the most exciting things I learned about at H+H was about the future of crochet trends. I love talking about trends. One of the talking points that I heard over and over again is that young people are crocheting, and I would think that most of us by now already know this. If you are on TikTok at all, or even Instagram, you're going to see so many young people who are crocheting, and it is amazing.
Hi, I'm Anna from The Naughty Boss. The future of crochet, I think crochet is becoming a lot more mainstream, and I am seeing a lot of more younger people getting into it. So I think the future is younger generation getting into crochet earlier, and crocheting becoming not just a grandma craft like I think a lot of people think it is. So that's my prediction.
I don't even really consider this a trend at this point because so many young people have adopted crochet and they are making it their own. Many of them picked it up during the pandemic, but they have stayed with it. In fact, I saw a lot of young people at the trade show, and they are taking their craft very seriously. And it's wonderful to see that next generation really loving this craft, and they're going to be the ones that are going to pass it on even further.
Hi, Sarah Korth of SEK Handmade here, and I think the future of crochet is young people. I am always so excited to see young people at our Sip and Stitches at my local yarn shop, and it's just amazing to see their enthusiasm and what they're working on.
One of the most interesting things that I learned was at the State of the Industry panel. Now, this was a group of industry leaders, including the CEO of Lion Brand, and they were there talking about trends. And the thing that stuck out in my mind, and the thing that really blew my mind, was that they are looking to us, the makers, to set the trends. I always thought it was the other way around. I thought the yarn manufacturers were the ones setting the trends, but in fact, they're actually looking to us to set the trends. So we need to keep making, we need to keep informing these yarn companies what we want to see and what we want to make.
All right, so I think the future of the crochet, of course, is Lion Brand, but it's going to be exciting things with exciting products. We have lots of new colors. We have lots of new types of textiles and feels, and I think that people, of course, amigurumi is very popular right now. I think that that's going to grow, but I think there's other exciting things. Crochet is so great. You're able to create something so quickly and so versatilely that it's such an amazing craft. I crochet. I love it. So.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, this next trend is definitely good news in my opinion, but I know for some of you this is not going to be good news, and that is granny squares aren't going anywhere. I saw so many granny squares everywhere at this event. There were blankets, there were granny square cardigans and sweaters and wearables, and it was glorious to see as a granny square lover. But I know some of you out there don't love granny squares, but they're not going anywhere.
Hi, I'm Helen from Sunflower Cottage Crochet, and I think the future of crochet is bright. It's going to be all about what you want to create and the way that you want to create it with the fibers that you want to use, and it's going to be awesome.
Now, one of the most interesting trends that I saw was crochet as art. This is going to be a bigger and bigger theme, I believe, in the crochet world. And one of the designers that I met there was Audrey from I Do Not Write Patterns, and she had designed this incredible sweater. It was inspired by The Shining, and it was also Jack Nicholson's face in these different panels, and it was inspired by Andy Warhol. And oh my goodness, in person, this was one of the most incredible crochet pieces that I have seen before, and it was just remarkable. And I've got a little interview from her as well. But she also created these skull granny squares, and these were crocheted with thread, and they were absolutely spectacular.
Hi, my name's Audrey Blackburn. My TikTok handle is I Do Not Write Patterns. This is the sweater that I have made recently. I'm inspired by pop art, Andy Warhol, movies, Stephen King. I do think that the future of crochet is colorful and political.
There was also crocheted cosplay costumes. I'm not sure if that's the term that you call them, but this one reminded me of Ursula from The Little Mermaid. I'm not sure if that was the inspiration, but wow. I'm just amazed at what people are thinking up. There was also a semi-life-size crocheted horse there that was so adorable. People are stretching the limits of what crochet can do.
Hi, I'm Corinne from Rin Knits and Stuff, and the future of crochet is creative. We're going to be breaking rules, doing whatever we want. It doesn't have to, the rules are meant to be broken. That is my answer.
Another trend that I'm seeing is more and more crocheted wearables. We're all familiar with crocheted blankets and home decor, but I was seeing a lot more wearables. I was seeing people walking around with their crocheted items on, and I think that we're going to continue to see more and more people crocheting their wardrobes.
Hi, I'm Michelle of Tales of Knots, so my handle is @TalesOfKnots. And the future of crochet for me is I am slightly bigger, and I think there's so many resources in the knitting community for bust shaping and hip shaping that you just can't find in crochet. So my patterns include bust shaping and hip shaping. So I think the future of crochet is to make it more inclusive, to make everybody fit their clothes, or rather the other way around, to make clothes fit your body.
Another trend that I'm happy to report isn't going anywhere is amigurumi. I saw more crocheted toys at H+H this year than I even did last year. And there were two companies in particular that were prioritizing amigurumi, and that's Circulo and King Cole. King Cole had some amazing new yarns specifically for amigurumi makers that I cannot wait to get my hands on. Circulo also had some fun new yarns, but the thing that I was most impressed about was their amigurumi accessories. They have amigurumi shoes, they had little roller skates, different pairs of glasses, and I was so excited to see all of those tiny little accessories. But the one thing that I was really impressed about was these bendable forms. They're plastic, they're bendable, and you stick them inside of your amigurumi so that you can bend the little arms, you can bend their little legs, their little bodies. But another feature that I really like is that it's going to stabilize the neck of amigurumi so that instead of those big heads flopping over, it's going to give it stability in the neck. So I thought that was a brilliant idea.
Hi, I'm Katie from Hooked by Katie. I think the future of crochet involves three-dimensional crochet. I think amigurumi are going big and they're going to stay that way. And it's going to be a great time to be a three-dimensional designer and have a lot of fun making great big things and little bitty things, but in 3 dimensions.
Mosaic crochet was another trend I heard a lot of people talking about, especially publishers. We're going to see more and more mosaic crochet blankets, books, and even wearables.
Hello, my name is Erin from Juniper and Oaks, and I think that the future of crochet is mosaic crochet. And if you've never tried it, you better.
One of my favorite things about crochet is that you can learn this craft from the comforts of your own home, coffee in hand, pajamas on, and I am here for it. And that's why I'm so excited to partner with Craftsy, an online learning platform full of amazing classes. In fact, they have over 2,000 creative classes in so many different areas like crochet, knitting, sewing, and quilting, just to name a few. Whether you're just getting started or you're ready to learn something new, Craftsy makes it easy to learn at your own pace. I joined Craftsy early on in my crochet journey, and I have taken so many different classes, and one of my favorites was Next Steps in Crochet by Kim Worker. This was the perfect class once I knew all of the basics, and she really helped me to take my skills to the next level. But one class I am so excited about right now is Toe Up Socks by Brenda K.B. Anderson. What I find really interesting about this class is that there's a rumor out there that socks should be knitted, not crocheted. But Brenda breaks down all of those myths so that you can make the perfect stretchy sock that will fit your foot perfectly. So if you're like me and you've wanted to learn how to crochet socks but you've felt a little intimidated, this is the perfect place to start. Brenda will walk us through the entire process step by step from the toe up. You'll learn how to shape the foot, turn the heel, and get a custom cozy fit. But what's even better is that Craftsy has a great offer for new members. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description box will get a full year of premium Craftsy membership for only $1.49. Thank you so much to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video.
Hello everyone, my name is Hala Azbeli. I'm the owner of Premier Yarns, and we are here in Rosemont, Illinois for the H+H Americas show. And the question is, what is the future of crochet? I think the future of crochet is great. It's growing, it's going to grow, and we're happy to be part of it. We'll be bringing new yarns for all of you crocheters out there to make some fun and great things. So thank you.
Thank you. I interviewed two of my favorite crochet designers, and they both gave me answers about how they believe that we're going to see some really new and exciting things coming from crocheters in the next few years. There are not going to be boundaries anymore with crochet, especially because we have a lot of young people coming into the craft and they aren't sticking to the rules. They don't need the rules. They're here to break them, and it's going to be really interesting to see the things that they come up with.
Hi, I'm Nikki of Nikki's Homemade Crafts, and I believe the future of crochet is specifically for unique patterns. With all the AI out there and with so many repetitive patterns being very, very similar out there, uniqueness will stand out. So if you are a crocheter and you're thinking about finding a pattern, I recommend looking for things that are multifunctional or have like 2-in-1, 3-in-1, or things that have special uniqueness to them that really makes you stand out when you crochet that, and you just make yourself feel better because you know you have some unique item out there that nobody else has, whether it's crocheted or it's from a special designer. But I believe the future for crochet is definitely uniqueness in order to stand out for yourself and the designer, of course.
There was a lot of discussion in different panels and different conversations. It was everywhere about the closing of Joann and its impacts across the entire industry. This was a seismic event that has shaken up the entire craft industry as a whole. But one of the neat things about it is that local yarn shop owners are looking to take advantage of those customers that no longer have that craft store to go to. And they talked about wanting to incorporate those type of yarns that Joann carried and bringing them into their shops so that those customers can go in and find those yarns and maybe discover new yarns that they had never known even existed.
Hello there. Hi, my name is Janice. I'm the sales manager at West Yorkshire Spinners, and we're responsible for bringing West Yorkshire Spinners and the new yarns Navita from our sister company into America. We're very proud to do that. I think crochet is growing constantly. It's become so much more than just a granny square. It's made into the most amazing garments now. Lots of different types of wools, add in mohair, add in silk. You get bespoke garments just like you do in knitting. and it's just so much fun.
One really interesting fact was that H+H had grown over 40% from the previous year, but the industry that was causing that growth is in quilting. Now, this has something to do with crochet, but there were so many quilting companies there with their fabrics and their sewing machines. It was absolutely incredible. But what was even more interesting is that one of the biggest booths there, which is Riley Blake, and I do believe that they were one of the big sponsors of the entire event, had what they called chunky thread. In my mind, when I heard they had chunky thread, I didn't realize they were talking about yarn. And so I scurried over to their booth, and I was shocked when I saw an entire wall full of 100% cotton yarn. It came in so many different colors, but the fact that they called it thread was a little confusing to me, but I saw it and I was like, oh, this is just yarn. They even had a designer there named Lori Holt, and she had all of her beautiful quilts, but she also had granny square blankets, granny square scarves. She had a granny square little Christmas stocking. I was in love. I could have stayed in that little booth forever. Actually, I just wanted to move in because it was just so beautiful. On a side note, Riley Blake had the most gorgeous quilt I think I have ever seen in my entire life, and it was an official licensed Jane Austen quilt. Oh my goodness, it took my breath away. Okay, back to crochet.
Hi, I'm Sarah from Sew Hooked. I think the future of crochet is whatever you want it to be, depending on your mood. That's it.
Another super interesting thing that I learned was that hand dyers are catering more and more to crocheters. In the past, hand-dyed yarn was thought of for knitters, and crocheters were known for just using budget-friendly yarns. Now, I love some budget-friendly yarns, but what I love even more is that we have a choice. These luxury hand dyers are catering more and more to crocheters. They are creating these yarns and then patterns specifically for crocheters. And one of the yarn dyers that I was most impressed with was Bad Sheep Yarn. Isn't that the cutest name? Marcy, the owner, had partnered with crochet designer Britt from Not Bad Brit, and Britt was wearing this most beautiful crocheted scarf using this hand-dyed yarn. I really feel like us as crocheters, I think that's grammatically more correct. We want to have choices. We want to use those budget-friendly yarns, but we also want to feel included when it comes to hand-dyed yarns as well. I know I keep saying that everything is so exciting, but it actually really was. And one of the most exciting things that I discovered is in relation to crochet hooks. First of all, Tulip has a brand new color of their famous Tulip Etimo hooks. I'm not sure if it's Etimo, Etimo, I don't know, Etimo, I'm not sure, but I say Tulip Etimo, but they are coming out with the color purple. And this is a gradient of all of these beautiful lavenders and purples, and I think that these are going to be a big hit. They're actually so gorgeous in person. Another exciting discovery was a brand new luxury crochet hook from Stellar Handicraft. These crochet hooks reminded me a little bit of Furl's Odyssey, which no longer exists. It is a weighted metal crochet hook, but it is shaped differently, and the name is the Little Black Dress, and so it has an hourglass shape. And the owner gave me all of the background information, and I was so impressed. I got to test them out while I was there, and I was so excited about them that I came home and I ordered 3 of them. Now, these are definitely luxury crochet hooks at $69 a pop. So it's going to be really interesting to see how crocheters respond. But don't worry, there will be a video reviewing those hooks as soon as they get here.
Hi you guys, this is Chris with Stellar Handicraft. I think that the future of crochet is people coming together, building a community, actually no longer being afraid of color or what they like. I think that a great crochet hook is going to be one of the best things for our crocheters. For so long we've been overlooked and we haven't been thought of as the actual creators that we are or the artists that we'll become. Remember, once you do something and you start to change it, it no longer is a hobby. It becomes a form of art, and you're an artist. So I believe that everybody deserves a tool as beautiful as the art they create. And the only way to get that is to take the time to invest in yourself. Crochet is an investment in self. It's an investment in your time, in your talent, in your creativity. I think the future of crochet is going to be you guys, and you do whatever you want with that. Make it your own.
One trend that I was really excited about is that I saw more crochet designers at H+H than I did last year. And I think this speaks to the idea that crochet designers are being taken more seriously industry-wide. These designers were there to meet with the yarn companies, to collaborate with other designers, and to even talk to book publishers.
Hi, I'm Beth from Betty McKnit. The future of crochet is, and I don't know if this is a prediction or a wish, the future of crochet is more connected, more heart-centered, more heart-led, helping people heal, bringing people together. Yeah, more connection.
Which leads me to the next part, which is the book publishers. One of the coolest things about the book publishers is that they really prioritize crocheters. I saw so many amazing books and card decks that are specifically for crocheters, and they are going to be amazing. They really are supporting us crocheters by giving us the kind of patterns that we want to see.
Hi, I'm Debbie from Madame Stitch, and I've been asked what I think the future of crochet is. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've seen the progression over the years of how knitting was the only thing that anybody ever wanted to do, and crochet was kind of in the background. And I'm so excited that now crochet is having its day, and people are understanding what an incredible art it is. And I think the future of crochet is that we're going to see design possibilities we've never seen before, creativity, artistry, and all of that in crochet that's just starting to emerge. So I'm really excited for the future of crochet. I think there's so much to come.
Do you remember when I was talking about Riley Blake, the quilting company, and how they had produced that 100% chunky thread, also known as yarn? Well, one of the most interesting things that I learned was that Premier Yarns is now going to sell thread, sewing thread. What's super interesting about that is that I was seeing for the first time this crossover between industries. So the fabric companies are looking at the crocheters and the knitters, and the yarn companies are looking at the quilters and the sewers. So we might start seeing more crossover across the industry, and that could be really fun.
I'm Pam Grice from Crochetpreneur, and I think the future of crochet is going to be an amazing mix of traditional, our history, our communities, a new wave of innovation from a new generation that is going to use technology in really exciting ways with crochet, but they're going to keep the soul in it, and that's what I think is going to happen with crochet.
I hope this behind the scenes of H+H Americas was interesting, and if you were there, please share what your experience was like. But if you weren't there, what was the most surprising takeaway for you? We would love to hear from you. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay safe and happy stitching.
I don't have a name. Okay. Oh, I'm Hook. What am I?
You're gonna have to edit that.
That wasn't good. That wasn't good.
And wait, sorry. What
do you think the future of?
Yay! That was awesome.
Yeah, better.
Yeah, better.
When do I go? Ready? Okay.
What am I saying?
You're saying hi.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. Okay.
Okay.
See?
Yeah.